Okay, so this is the first time I'm using my headset for a review, so hopefully this turns out okay. Now this is an older video I did for the second Sam Raimi Spider-Man film, starring Tobey Maguire. Why am I forgetting his name? You'll see the actor who played Doc Ock. His name in the film. Why am I drawing a blank? Oh, maybe because it's 1:38 in the morning. It's a Saturday though, so I don't really give a fuck. Now, like the RoboCop review, this is going to be like this. The first two Sam Raimi films are two of my favorite comic book films of all time, two of my favorite Marvel films of all time, and two of my favorite films of all time, and they are the first Spider-Man movie especially I love because that was the first superhero movie that got me into superheroes, you know. That's what got me into them. Now, when I rewatched the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man a few weeks back, I was going through some really sad personal shit. I was feeling really down about something in my personal life, with a close relationship with someone I had, and I felt it was going in a weird direction, but all that's resolved. And yeah, just a lot of shit was going on. I like OCP Communications told about the Christopher Nolan Batman films. He was like, I'm going to be open-minded, so I am willing to rewatch The Amazing Spider-Man 1. I have the DVD with me, so I'm going to rewatch that. But in the meantime, this review of Spider-Man 2 I recorded back in February, and I do plan on finishing my reviews of the Raimi trilogy, and then I'm going to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I have very low expectations because that film's been getting slashed. I hope it's a good film. I hope The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a good film. I hope it's not as much of a clusterfuck as what I'm hearing it is. So, hope you enjoy the video. Hey everyone, I'm Darth Boy, and well, since I praised the ever-loving shit out of the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film, I thought I might as well talk about the great sequel to that already amazing film. Now you gotta understand something with me and the Raimi Spider-Man film. I grew up on these fucking movies. These were my Spider-Man movies. And I love the first two Spider-Man movies. So, now that I've given you a little bit of a brief history about my love for the Raimi Spider-Man films, I thought I might as well talk about the fucking plot. In this movie, it starts off with Peter Parker delivering pizza, and he tries, but his pizza delivery boss has his 29-minute late fee thing, so after 29 minutes, the pizza's free. He loses his job, of course, because he's like, I'm sorry, there was a disturbance. Yeah, you were fucking Spider-Man. And in this movie, you just see Peter Parker struggling to get his life together with Spider-Man. Much like the melodrama in the comics, this movie illustrates that incredibly well. I would say possibly better than Superman 2 in a lot of ways, of the melodrama of being a superhero. You know, I don't think up until the Nolan Batman movies you had a superhero movie deal with some melodrama like that. And it works really well. And then he goes, and like I said, he's struggling with his life. MJ's getting married to j.j.jonah Jameson's son, who's an astronaut, John Jameson. So Peter's like, shit, 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 shit. And at the same time of this, Peter Parker has to get a college paper for Dr. Kurt Connors, who would be the fucking Lizard, but we'll never know. Thank you, Sony, you fucking asshole. But knowing that fact, Peter Parker and Dr. Otto Octavius start to have a very interesting relationship. Much like the relationship between Norman Osborn and Peter in the last movie, this relationship is pretty interesting. It's another father-son like relationship, and Peter's trying to tell Otto, hey, do you think you can control the radiation of fusion energy? And he's like, yo, Peter, I've got this. I've done this over and over again in terms of the formula. It's fine. You don't have to worry about it. Also, Harry Osborn is now CEO of Oscorp Industries. So now he's like, okay, Otto Octavius is going to do all this shit. I'm going to get a Nobel Prize. Fuck yeah, I'm going to put Oscorp on the map, baby. So, of course, Otto Octavius fucks up. His wife's dead. And then we get Dr. Octopus, who is one of the best fucking movie villains of all time. I fucking love Otto Octavius, aka Doc Ock, in this fucking movie, because Alfred Molina is having so much goddamn fun with this role. He loves being the bad guy. You see him doing all sorts of shit where he's in a bank and he takes the fucking hinges off, like vroom, vroom, throws the thing, and he takes Aunt May hostage, and Peter has to get her, and he's like, ooh, Butterfingers, you know, and he's just so goddamn diabolical and smart, and a much more physical challenge than the Green Goblin was, because while the Green Goblin gave him an aerial advantage, Doc Ock is very similar to how Bane was in The Dark Knight Rises, the villain that was Spider-Man's greatest challenge in that film. And of course, after Otto Octavius fucks up, Harry starts to become more and more obsessed with getting Spider-Man in this movie. That's all he cares about. He wants to kill Spider-Man to avenge his father. So, after a few great action scenes between Spider-Man and Doc Ock, he beats Peter, and he gets his tritium, which is what powers the fusion, his miniature son for the fusion reactor, and this is like the greatest scene ever. Spider-Man is tied up in barbed wire. He's beaten. This is the moment Harry's been waiting for 2 years. He's like, I'm gonna take your mask off. He's like, now it's time to see who's behind the mask. Look into your eyes as you die. Takes it off. Obviously, it's Peter. And he's like, and Harry's like, Peter, no! Oh my God, no! And Peter's telling Harry, where is Mary Jane? Since Dr. Octopus kidnapped Mary Jane, he's like, because Harry's freaking out. He's like, Peter, you killed my father. There's a little moment of silence where Peter Parker says, there are bigger things going on other than you and me right now. Keeping his promise to Norman Osborn, which is one of the most tragic things in this film. Harry thinking that Peter killed his father. And then Spider-Man gets to Doc Ock, stops his evil plan, saves Mary Jane, and Doc Ock has this really interesting reveal where he takes back control of his arms and takes the fusion reactor down himself. And Doc Ock, like I said, the way Alfred Molina betrays Doc Ock is just such a fun, evil villain. He's like a fucking badass. There are little moments in this movie where he's building his fusion, in a few scenes before, while he's building his fusion reactor, he's smoking a fucking cigar going, yeah, I'm a fucking boss. Don't fuck with me. But like I said, Peter convinces him of science and intelligence and how he told him that intelligence is a gift to mankind and it shouldn't be wasted on evil. And Doc Ock does a noble sacrifice, destroys his creation, and Peter saves MJ. And MJ says, fuck you, astronaut, I'm going to Spider-Man. And of course, Mary Jane says to go get him, Tiger. Spider-Man goes off into the sunset, and of course, that is the end. Until it leaves on a great cliffhanger for Harry to take up the mantle of the Green Goblin. So, that is it for now. What's my review of Spider-Man 2? Well, obviously a 10 out of 10. Tobey Maguire does a fantastic job as Spider-Man. Alfred Molina steals the show. Kirsten Dunst is pretty good. James Franco is pretty solid. And, well, You just gotta see this movie for yourself. Get it on DVD or Blu-ray. Live long and prosper and have a nice day.